Before most of us rise in our nation's capital, with dreams still dancing in our heads,
Yep, street, yep.
Bobo starts his day with express catering.
Everything is set up.
It's Bobo's job to load and deliver food and drink to planes departing National Airport in Arlington, Virginia. Little did this 40-year-old know that his hustle and quick-to-smile personality would inspire a series of events so absurdly astonishing and over-the-top heartwarming, you'd think he was living in a Hollywood script.
Honestly, this is like movie stuff. You know, what he went through to get here and how he's suffered and been alone.
Express catering owner Frank Fumick hired Bobo a few years back. As they grew closer, Bobo confided in Frank that he grew up in Cameroon in Central Africa.
I'm trying to go to the university to get a better life.
But that better life quickly erupted in horror. When Bobo, a student activist, was arrested, imprisoned, and tortured for peacefully protesting conditions at his university.
Yeah, they put me the chain in my 2 foot, yeah, and in my hand, and they beat me. Yeah.
In fact, according to the U.S. State Department, the Cameroon government has been awash in corruption under decades of authoritarian rule. They even warn Americans to stay away.
Beat me, they jailed me for some time, and a lot of people helped me, and I escaped to another country, yeah, to be safe.
Bobo says for years he was on the run, traveling to and from Cameroon to nearby Equatorial Guinea to evade further arrest. Then, something unexpected happened. He fell in love with a woman named Luti. They married and had a daughter, Kellyanne. But when she was only 5, Bobo made the gut-wrenching decision to seek asylum, to leave for America.
I mean, it's really crazy. It's really struck me. I mean, I have 2 daughters, and I can't imagine not seeing them for 7 years. You know, it's hard to even comprehend.
I cry because it's very emotional. He just asked me, hey, you need help? I say, yes, boss, if you can help me, that's great.
Then Frank made a decision that changed everything.
Because you said it could take up to 2 years.
He hired esteemed immigration attorney, Anna Sami.
My parents taught me from a very young age that there is no higher value than freedom. No higher value than freedom.
Sami says a massive backlog of asylum cases allowed them to sue the U.S. government over an unreasonable delay, and they won.
Everything is just a little miracle. There are little miracles all along the way.
I don't know if you know this. This is the verdict.
In April, Bobo received his asylum verdict in the mail, insisting that Frank read it.
Well, the first thing I see is says asylum approval.
Yes.
Yes! Yes, brother!
Yes. There you go.
Yes! Yes!
The first of many little miracles to come.
Yeah, tomorrow we're gonna start on your family.
Okay,
apply to get them here.
Thank you, boss.
That normally takes years. Anna Sami did it in only a month.
When my wife will get the passport, he start to crying because he's not imagine it's real. It's real.
And now we get to help reunite him with his family. I mean, it's like a story. It's a fairy tale, really.
So on November 11th, Frank and a handful of friends gathered at Dulles International Airport, only to be forced to wait 3 excruciating hours before Bobo's wife and daughter finally emerged from customs. A family once ripped apart by violence, so improbably and blissfully together again. It makes you wonder, how many little miracles are there in this story? A week after Bobo's family arrived, everyone celebrated by exchanging gifts at Frank's house. Luti brought traditional items from Cameroon. As for Frank, he carried only a plain box.
and raise $50,000 for your family. You're going to be getting $50,000 to start your lives here in America.
Frank had kept quiet for months about a GoFundMe page he secretly created for Bobo, thereby washing away the worries of a man who lost count of all the tears he's ever tasted.
It's incredible. It's my first time, it's my life. A lot of people show me love.
I am writing you this letter to tell you thank you inside my heart for what you have done for me and my family. You have made my dream a reality to go and meet my father in America.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
All Bobo ever wanted was his freedom and his family, a reality buried deep inside his dreams, only to be unlocked by a community as fierce as they are caring.
Thank you for changing my life, because for the moment my life is incredible. So thank you. Thank you for everything.
I'm Jay Korf for 7 News. Operating a tractor trailer or a school bus are on a select list of jobs keeping our economy rolling and our children heading in the right direction. But these industries face a massive shortage of drivers. We found a one-of-a-kind program in Maryland where drivers are desperate to get behind the wheel so they can dream again.
Their testimonies, they just grab at your heartstrings.
40 years ago, Ricardo Contreras Rubio fled the violence-riddled streets of El Salvador for a better life in America. But his thirst for alcohol led only to addiction and heartache.
Beer, wine, everything. Yeah, I like to drink. I like to drink too much. For that God help me, I no drink no more.
I actually learned how to survive in the street, but also how to make money.
Around the same time, a young Rodney Alvarez Santizo moved here from Guatemala after his father died. He says a shattered home life also pushed him to the dark side.
And the only thing I knew was drugs. So after selling drugs, I became addicted to drugs. So I would work just to get high. And that was my life.
Rodney and Ricardo found sanctuary and eventually solace at the House of Restoration in Prince George's County. Here, Spanish-speaking men work with counselors and scripture to push past their demons.
I know that there's a lot of people that need a second chance like me.
Which of the following statements about causes of vehicle fires is true?
From the pulpit on this night, with Rodney and Ricardo in attendance,
D, turn on your four-way flash.
An instructor teaching men how to get their CDL or commercial driver's license.
It is recommended that you use your high beam.
And so when I learned about House of Restoration, that's what really got me motivated.
While Kyria Poole runs Centro de Apoyo Familiar, a nonprofit assisting people with everything from financial literacy to food distribution to affordable housing.
We want to make sure that at the end of the day, these people are building wealth.
Poole applied for and received a $100,000 state grant to teach around a dozen men who live or once lived in the House of Restoration how to get a CDL.
I often say that we are hope dealers.
And she partnered with Nicole Francis, who runs Ellison Global Logistics, a trucking company with expertise in vocational training and in turning lives around.
Instantly, we were able to come up with this collaboration and this amazing partnership to serve these amazing students.
They're so connected and they feel they need to go to the finish line. And they're supporting each other.
D, all of the above.
For months, we followed their trajectory from studying in a classroom to practicing in a parking lot.
Turn here and make sure you miss that cone.
And we were there when Ricardo succeeded at a critical test, lining up his bus's back bumper between two cones.
You did it perfect, man. You only did one. You only did one look.
Yeah.
One look.
One look.
Man, it's very inspiring. They like my children.
I'm excited now. I tell God, thank you, God, thank you for everything.
Driving a tractor trailer was always my dream, ever since I was little. All the questions I got in my head, I have all the answers. I'm pretty sure that once I go take the test, I'm gonna pass it.
Following months of study and sacrifice, it was graduation time.
And congratulations, it is such an honor to be in front of you. You inspire me. Thank you.
Most of the 18 students who started this program completed their classroom training and will soon take their CDL tests or have already passed, like Ricardo, who at 65 years young has a new career.
It's a nice pay, good money, you know, for my life it's changed my life.
We are delighted in providing this certificate to you.
For all of the joy filling this graduation ceremony, there were disappointments. A few students could not move forward in the licensing process due to their immigration status, including Rodney. His dream of driving a tractor trailer is temporarily on hold.
I saw myself there, so I still see myself there. It's just that, you know, I have to take a longer route, but I'll get there.
Rodney knows full well there is no roadmap to economic self-sufficiency. It's a journey that takes time, talent, and faith, of which Rodney has plenty.
He gave me the self-worth that I had lost.
I'm Jay Korf for 7 News.
I want the world to know about this fight, about the fight of and for Black deaf children.
Tucked behind a wall on the campus of Gallaudet University in Northeast Washington resides a story of an historic and haunting injustice against Black deaf children.
We deserve equal access. We deserve equal rights.
The names etched on this small plaque, from Louise B. Miller to Robbie Cheatham, are unfamiliar to most. But their courageous legal victory over the abomination of segregation reshaped education for all of America's children.
If not for them, if not for those 23 children and those 4 teachers, there would be no Brown versus Board of Education.
We recently sat down with Yvonne Black inside the National Deaf Life Museum at Gallaudet, along with 2 very special guests, to explore how we as a nation once traveled down the road of inhumanity to then change course toward a destination of healing.
As a young girl from Arkansas, I had teachers outright tell me that I was going to have 10 children and I was going to be on welfare.
Yvonne Black did not allow mid-20th century America to define her future. She's the Associate Director of the Center for Black Deaf Studies on a campus considered the epicenter of deaf culture. She believes that she is here in this moment, thanks to the tenacity of Carol and Gerald Miller's mother, Louise.
When we honor well-known Black deaf people, notable historic figures, we should add my mom to that list. Dr. King, Rosa Parks, and Louise B. Miller.
In the early 1950s, D.C. resident Louise Miller tried desperately to enroll her oldest son, Kenneth, in the only elementary school for the deaf in the city. It was on Gallaudet's campus. This is the very letter that she received back from then University President Leonard Elstad. So one day, Kenneth's grandmother drove him to an out-of-state boarding school for the deaf in Pennsylvania. Family members say that since he didn't know how to sign yet, he did not understand what was happening until weeks later.
She could hear him knocking on the window and sort of calling her name. And she said, I just kept walking. She said, I knew he needed an education. I just kept walking, and I wouldn't turn around.
This family's pain turned to action. Miller filed suit with other parents and their deaf children, and in 1952, the U.S. District Court in D.C. ruled in Miller versus D.C. Board of Education that Black deaf children had a right to attend the same in-state schools as white children. 2 years later, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled racial segregation in public education unconstitutional in the landmark case Brown versus Board of Education.
Hearing people don't realize it, but we would not have made it. We would not be where we are without them.
The Kendall School was built in 1953 for that first class of 23 students. Only 3 are still alive, including Kenneth Miller. His classmate Robbie Cheatham passed away just weeks ago at the age of 86.
Just a couple of pictures of my grandmother, different periods of her lifetime. This one's a good one.
For Cheatham's granddaughter, Daria Gilbert, sadness and pride sit beside each other. Pride because Gilbert's mother, Chrissy Spence, Cheatham's only child, recently made a stunning discovery while researching her mother's past. Details Cheatham never shared.
I was like, oh, wow. She was as amazing as I always thought she was.
They found out that Cheatham was among the original plaintiffs in Miller versus DC Board of Education.
I watched her all my life tell people, I'm a woman and I can do anything.
And Cheatham did just that. Her education leading her to work as an IRS tax examiner for nearly 40 years.
And when I see her name engraved in stone at the university at Gallaudet, it just warms my heart. It really does. I'm so very proud.
The plan now is to journey from heartache to hope. Gallaudet is raising millions of dollars to replace that small plaque with a sweeping memorial called the Louise B. Miller Pathways and Gardens, a monument designed in the words of the university to confront the past, honor the brave, and catalyze collective healing.
And I look forward to seeing the transformation from the pain and sorrow to taking this path toward beauty and strength, and leading us ultimately toward a better tomorrow, so that future Black deaf children can see this and be inspired and know that they have a future and have hope.
I'm Jay Korf for 7 News.
A statue of famed abolitionist Harriet Tubman is visiting the D.C. region for the very first time, and 7 News on Your Side was in Montgomery County to capture the moment. Our Jay Korf has the journey to freedom you'll see only on 7 News.
Iconic abolitionist Harriet Tubman traveled far and wide in the 19th century to move the enslaved to safer spaces via the Underground Railroad.
I really see her as, the human manifestation of the North Star.
Friday, a 9-foot-tall likeness of the famed emancipator called The Journey to Freedom by Wesley Wofford moved via flatbed into the D.C. region for the very first time.
It is a 2,500 pounds bronze beauty that has been traveling the country for the past few years and inspiring people about the life and legacy of probably America's best known freedom fighter.
The statue's first stop, Butler Montessori School in Montgomery County.
She was one of the chief people on the Underground Railroad.
Underground Railroad historian Anthony Cohen arranged for the statue to visit here so students could experience this critical figure in U.S. history.
Her strength and her determination are so clear in her face.
For educators like Natasha Soderberg, this moment an invaluable one for students.
And what we hope is that it gives them a jumping point to do more exploration and more research and find out many more things about Harriet Tubman.
The statue's final stop, only minutes down the road at the Button Farm Living History Center in Germantown. A forklift carefully easing to the ground a piece of history now nestled in countryside, once familiar to Harriet Tubman herself.
She's in the environment that the statue depicts her being in, escaping through the wilderness.
Anthony Cohen runs this education space to see this stunning artistic expression of resilience, struggle, and liberty is the culmination of a lifetime's work.
And this is very emotional because I've dreamed of this happening and now it's here.
So for the next 2 months, this statue will remain on display here at the Button Farm for programs and events open to the public so you can experience the journey to freedom. I'm Jay Korf for 7 News.
Wow, isn't that beautiful? And Harriet Tubman was born into slavery in Dorchester County, Maryland. In Cambridge, just miles from where she grew up, is the Harriet Tubman Museum and Education Center. And 7 News also showed you when her bronze statue was installed last year at CIA headquarters at Langley. The agency calls her an intelligence pioneer. The abolitionist was also a spy during the Civil War, gathering information for the Union Army. The statue shows Tubman holding a lantern and a pistol in her belt. Thanks to her intelligence, more than 750 enslaved men and women escaped unharmed.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, would you like a bag?
The Farm Stand.
So you're at $5.
It's where you'll find the finest produce.
Well, I have cilantro, strawberries, asparagus, pink lady apples, carrots.
Have a good one.
Thank you, too.
But for far too long, the residents of Ward 8 in D.C. have been forced to forage far and wide to bring home the healthiest of options.
Most of the residents of this neighborhood have to travel 1-2 buses, 30 minutes, sometimes outside of the city into Maryland to access some of the produce that we're bringing right here into the community.
Sí, mejor para que no se la...
But all that changed during Earth Day celebrations last Saturday at the Smithsonian's Anacostia Community Museum, thanks to a unique collaboration. Museum Director Melanie Adams.
We are so excited to partner with Fresh Farm to bring fresh fruits and vegetables to the Ward 8 community.
Strawberries are $5.
For the first time, residents of Ward 8 have a seasonal farm stand.
So when you get home, just run it under cold water.
This one, run by Barajas Produce out of Virginia,
57.50.
and it'll be planted outside the museum every Saturday from 10 to 2 through November 18th.
You say, like, why is it important?
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel because it's helping other people.
This neighborhood anchor also enlightens visitors to the impact that environmental injustices have had and continue to have on this under-resourced community of color.
It's housing, it's education, it's food, it's all of these different things. And if you don't have a healthy environment, it is hard to have equality in any of those other areas.
Sí, no, eso está bien. No más la esta. Gracias. Ajá, tenga buen día.
The other side of this collaboration is Fresh Farm. Their executive director, Hugo Mogola.
Well, we're hoping that people could come weekly and use their food benefits, access to the best food. They don't have to travel anymore outside. This is the same food you'll find Dupont Circle.
Gracias.
Fresh Farm is the region's premier nonprofit manager of farmers markets and a respected leader in innovative solutions to food distribution.
We're not just having a farm stand here. We're really trying to engage the community in holistic approaches.
You take care.
For several years, they've supported similar pilot programs with great success to both farmer and the neighborhood. One reason for that success, an incentive program.
So $29.23.
Here, Fresh Farm matches dollar for dollar all federal nutrition benefits spent on produce, allowing shoppers to bring home a bounty.
These strawberries are absolutely gorgeous. They are so plump, so red, and I'm so excited. And they taste very sweet.
I'm Jay Korf for 7 News.